Hey, everybody. Welcome to Carl's Opinion. This is Carl. Welcome to our Thursday night live call in show. And I just want to say, I've been gone for a few days. As everybody knows, I'm a full time attorney, and that takes priority over my YouTube channel. But thanks for everybody who will be joining us tonight, those who will be joining us later on to view the rebroadcast. So, a lot of news to get to today while the Democrats are going crazy over the Trump rally and the tweets and everything else like that. Still a lot of news going on, primarily with illegal immigration. A lot of people are saying that Trump did the tweets to actually distract people from the illegal immigration argument. That possibly could be true, and he did it for a lot of different reasons. I know a lot of people have covered this. H.A. Goodman's done a really good job on it. Sticks and Amber's probably done the best job on it whatsoever. When a lot of people were kind of freaking out, Sticks and Amber came out and we were saying, well, actually, we actually said it the night before. Six and Amber came out with it the next day. We were discussing it here. I believe I was having a conversation with Effie Loves America, and we were pretty much saying like there was more to it than just him being pissed off. We were kind of speculating, brainstorming as to what the reasons would be for him doing that. It seemed like a lot of the reasons we were coming up with was that, in fact, he was doing it to, make Ocasio-Cortez the face of the Democratic Party, also to put Nancy Pelosi in a box or a few other things. But yeah, we were covering that here. I believe it was, I want to say Sunday night, Monday night. And then everybody else, kind of piled on board the next day, which is good, I mean, but you got it when, it's like in my practice, I always tell my clients, never get too excited when things look really, really good, and never get too down when things don't look so good at all. You just want to kind of keep an even keel on it. Oh, hey man, I almost forgot my hat. Let me see. Up. I cleaned out this room. All the hats are upstairs. Well, tonight you get to see me without a hat on. Yay, no hat. But this is me without a hat. So anyway, well, this is how I normally look during most of the time. I don't wear a hat most of the time, so actually you get to see me as I really am tonight. So anyway, so legal immigration has dropped 28%. There's also another story that I could put this in the description page, where it's the number about 28% dropping. That's a good number. I mean, it's still a high number because it's dropping off from over 4,000 a day. So dropping on 20%, that's still significant. It's better than it was. But the main number that was really really good was that it was a number of people we were releasing into the United States, people that we couldn't hold more than 20 days or people that was just too crowded to hold here, pending their bogus, and I do mean bogus, false asylum claims. We'll get to that. We got some stories on that tonight, especially a story from the president of El Salvador who gave an interview with the BBC, and it's pretty much saying, hey, look, it's not so much, there's these people need asylum coming out of El Salvador, even in his own country. And he ran on an anti-corruption, young guy. He's like 30, 37, 38 years old. It's like Steve Buttigieg's age. And so he's not some like old guy who's going to just be BSing about his country. He ran on an anti-corruption platform and he won. And he said, a lot of it has to do with the corruption, but it's not like they're being persecuted or anything like that. People are leaving because they want a better life. And that's fine, but don't come here and lie to Customs and Border Patrol and say you want asylum when you know and everybody else knows damn well you don't want asylum, or you don't need asylum rather. And everybody says, oh, they're such these migrants are such nice people. Well, the first thing they do when they walk in the door is they're lying to us. They're committing a fraud upon us. They're saying we need asylum when they don't. They don't need asylum. If they needed asylum, they could have stopped in, say, even Guatemala, which sounds like, according to the story we covered last week, their economy is doing really, really good. GDP is more than doubled in the last 10 years. That's pretty good. GDP doubling in 10 years. That's really good. Crime rate is the lowest it's been in 15 to 20 years. Murder rate was cut down in half in the last 10 years itself. Hey, Effie Loves America. How you doing, young lady? Good seeing you out there. And so I mean, they could stop there, or they could stop in Mexico. Mexico's not like the economy's, doing okay. It's kind of facing a little bit of a recession now because of the fact, hey, what's it F to you? There's a way to pronounce that that's going to be a lot easier, and I'll get to it eventually. But WTFS it to you. That's it. But what was I going to say? So yeah, so I mean, their country's doing really good. In Mexico, like I said, they're facing potentially a little bit of recession. That's not because of they're not the jobs or the U.S. Mexico Canada trade agreement. It's mainly because the guy in the country is a leftist, and a lot of people, foreign investors, are a little worried about hey, we don't want to be sending a bunch of money there. This guy's going to turn around and nationalize everything. Their minister required. Hey, Irina, how you doing there tonight? So yeah, let me see here. Ba-ba-ba. Dun, 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 dun. Dun. But yeah, so I mean, so potentially some foreign investors can get worried. Anytime you elect a guy who's a leftist, claims to be a socialist, and borderline socialist, it scares off foreign investors. So but still, it sounds like their economy's doing pretty good right now. Their country's doing pretty good right now. The number of illegal immigrants coming from Mexico is way down. It may, unfortunately, it may go back up a little bit because of this whole family unit thing. The asylum claims and all that. So it may go up a little bit, but it seems like Mexicans are pretty proud of their country right now. It seems like things are kind of going in the right direction. So we probably see a lot less people. I've been dealing with a bunch of personal stuff. Sorry, I haven't been around much. Oh, that's okay, Irene. I don't think I've done a live since Monday. I think Monday was the last one I did. I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday. I've been really busy over here myself, law stuff and everything. So yeah, so I've been I don't think I've posted a live since I want to say Monday or Sunday or Monday. Can't remember which one was the last one I did. It's been really busy, really busy this week, so I'm kind of losing track of time myself. But yeah, so the immigration number dropping down, that's really good. And do have a live call-in show tonight. Phone number is 775-273-8970. And of course, the zombie is available tonight. So for zombies available to be engaged. Over here. There you go. The zombie is available. So, so the zombie is available for anybody who potentially has bad intentions. But if you don't, then you're good to go. So, so anybody with bad intentions gets the zombie. The zombie. But yeah, we got a lot of things worked out with the live call-in show. Oh, I'll let you guys know. I forgot to tell you guys last week, or last weekend rather, when I'd called in, not called in, but I did a chat on Sticks and Hammers live show. I think it was Saturday morning, and I asked him in his chat room. I said, "Hey, are you going to do?" Yep, there he is. Yeah, and I said I asked him on his chat room, "Hey, you going to do live call-ins?" And he actually responded to the question. He goes, "Oh no, I'm not going to do live call-ins." And he talked about the problems with YouTube, and as far as hey, you can anything that comes across your airway on YouTube, it's yours. You own it. And he was concerned like somebody might call in and try to put some racist stuff on his site, on his audio. Which again, that doesn't matter if you're the host, you're responsible for anything that comes across the airwaves. You're responsible for anything that's in the chat room, anything in your comment section, anything like that. That's yours. You own it because they give you the ability to take it out. And if you don't monitor your site well enough and you leave stuff up there, then that's on you. So he was concerned about that. He goes, "Yeah, I would do it, but it's too scary with YouTube. Somebody's liable to put something on there, and then I get a strike, or they take down my site, or whatever." So it's funny. So I wrote back to him. Soon actually helped with at least four of the worst symptoms. Zombie. Let's see. So anyway, so after he said that, I wrote back. I said you should get yourself a zombie. To back to Sticks and Hammer. So I saw him reading the chat after I wrote that, and he looked at it and he didn't know what to say. I think he thought I was probably trolling him or something. Like he didn't recognize the name or anything. I don't post any comments in his on his site, and I think that's the first time I ever posted. He just started doing live shows. I think that's the first time I posted anything in his chat. So like at first when I asked the question, it seemed like a normal question. Hey, do you do live call-ins? And then after I said, well, you should try to get yourself a zombie. And he kind of looked at it like he didn't know if he wanted to read it out loud because he figured, this guy's probably just trolling me or something. But yeah, it's what we do here is we do take call-ins. I used to do it a little bit differently before until I figured things out a little bit better. If I didn't recognize the call, I'd put the zombie up front and clear the caller. But that wasn't always a perfect solution. So I got a better perfect solution. I have a true broadcast delay, kind of like you see on the radio, except it works with video. Broadcast delay, you can buy those; they're very expensive. The only problem is though, it works great on the radio because nobody can see your lips moving. But but when you're on video, you need a true broadcast delay for both your audio and your video. So when you delay the call or you bleep the call off, your lips aren't moving one way. You're through the whole process. Your lips aren't moving one way, and your voice is moving someplace else. So hey, Rita, how you doing? Let's see. Boom, boom. So anyway, I have a true broadcast delay, so I can actually take the phone calls. I don't have to worry about screening them out first, and I can always zap them in media res in the middle of the phone call. So it makes it a lot easier on me actually, and it's a lot safer. And like Sticks and Amber was saying, again, if somebody calls in and puts something on your audio, you own that audio as the host. That's yours. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, no, YouTube. I'm sorry, I got through somehow. YouTube's like, we don't give a shit. You let it on. You should have put a system in place to make sure it didn't. If you can do live call-ins, that's your responsibility. Again, a good friend of ours, his site got zapped. Knowing him, I don't think there's anything he said. I think it possibly could have been one of his call-ins because they'll just blurt something out wrong, and he'll say, "Hey, well, kind of watch it," but it's a little late after that point. So, but oh, good deal, Rita. Good seeing you in the chat. But okay, so let's get this first story. And actually, we're gonna this number kind of speaks for itself. So let me jump over to let me just jump over here real quick. Okay, let me pull this other story up from El Salvador. Okay. All right, here. This is President of El Salvador. Remember the guy who drowned with his daughter. They were both from El Salvador. And so, it's obviously something he cares a great deal about. Let me see what's going on here. Let me make sure I'm going good on the audio. Yeah, looking good over here. Oh, it's funny. Who was it? Who was on live? And it was Sargon of Akkad, right? So anyway, so somebody in his chat goes, "Hey, your audio's low or audio's off or something like that, right?" And he goes, "Wait a second, let me check." And so you can actually, if depending on how you do it, like I have the two desktops and a laptop, so the two desktops are work computer, streaming computer. That's all, my vMix. But then I also have that's the two desktop computers. I also have the laptop, which means I can just go on. I'm looking at what you're seeing right now in real time on YouTube on the laptop. So I can click on the audio and listen and see how everything's going if I just want to hear how it sounds going out to YouTube, the final product, not just what's going on in the production here. So that's what he did. So he goes, "Oh, the audio's off," and he was doing like he had an interview. He had a guest with him, calling in, and so he was concerned because anytime you do a remote call in, you try to match up the audios. You know how that is. Well, maybe you don't, but anyway, it's kind of the biggest thing is trying to keep it consistent. Your voice, your audio with the guest audio, so people aren't having to turn up and down the volume to hear you and hear somebody else. So anyway, so Sargon's like, "Oh shit, the audio." Because he's doing a live, right? And so, he goes. You can tell what he does. He goes over and listens to YouTube, and he listens to it. You can even hear a little bit of the echo coming through his mic because he's got the video on from YouTube, which is a delay. And he listens to it and he goes, "What?" He goes, "What the shit?" He goes, "That sounds great." He goes, "Stop." He tells his guy, "Stop trolling me." He goes, "What are you saying? My audio's bad." Got me all worried over here. Because again, that's a big worry for us. When you're doing a live show, when you're doing when you're recording a show and then putting it up later, you can edit through it. You can listen to it first and edit and turn volume up here or there. You can do all kinds of things. But when you're live, it's it. That's what's going on. So anytime you do a live show, especially with a guest panel or a guest on it, you're always concerned about audio, video, and everything else like that. And it was funny his reaction. And those of us who do live call-in shows, live guest shows, live shows, period. His reaction initially was, "What? My audio's wrong." And he's like looking. He goes, "Oh, stop trolling me." He started yelling at people in his chat. It's kind of funny. So, but anyway, so El Salvador's president ties emigration. That's emigration, people emigrating from his country, which become immigrants into our country. Emigration with an E versus immigration with an I. Remember, there's no I in team, which doesn't mean anything, but nonetheless. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this story. Okay, El Salvador's president ties immigration to corruption. This is by Bob Dane of immigrationreform.com. And I've said it before, if you haven't signed on to immigrationreform.com's website, I suggest you do. It's a very good website, and they cover a lot of stories on immigration into our country that you don't see other places. And Bob Dane does a really good job of really good writing. So let's take a look here. It says, so anyway, he goes on to write, tragic photos of a Salvadorian migrant and his daughter drowned in the Rio Grande last month triggered yet another round of attacks on President Donald Trump and U.S. immigration policies. Then El Salvador's new president stepped up to counsel his countrymen to look in the mirror. Again, this is a young kid. He ran on an anti-corruption platform. He's in his late 30s. So he's not some just kind of like old school kind of politician. And so he's a young kid. And he goes citing the deaths of Oscar Martinez and his daughter Valeria. President Nayib Bukele, I've totally butchered his name, and I apologize. He said, "We can blame any other country, but what about our blame? What country did they flee? Did they flee the United States? They fled El Salvador. They fled our country. It is our fault." And again, this guy's like Pete Buttigieg's age, although sounds like a hell of a lot more mature. Bukele, go figure, 37, was elected on an anti-corruption pledge that goes to the root of the Central American exodus. The former mayor of San Salvador, which is its capital and largest city, is the first political outsider to become the Salvadoran president. Sensing an ally in Bukele, Trump tweeted, "The United States stands ready to work with Nayib Bukele to advance prosperity in El Salvador and the hemisphere. Congratulations, President Bukele, on your inauguration." Bukele retweeted the message shortly after. Oh, this guy, and not to mention, this guy sounds pretty freaking smart. I mean, think about it. He knows Trump's in a lot of heat over this whole, one of his countrymen dying, drowning in the Rio Grande with his daughter. And so what's this guy do? This guy's like, well, everybody else is bashing the president. How about if I don't? How about if I, say, hey, look, we should take blame for this, for what happened. And he knows that's going to get headlines, and he knows Trump's going to hear about it, and Trump's going to say, hey, man, thanks. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks for doing me a solid. And then guess what? The United States of America, but maybe doing him a solid soon thereafter. Like, hey, what do you need down there? Need some help? What do you got? You need some help with law enforcement? You need some help with the military? You need some help with this MS-13? You need help with maybe some economic aid? We give economic aid out. Why not give it to somebody who actually said something nice about us? That'd be a change, huh? Go figure. So President's like, hey, man, we're ready to work with you. So what do you got going? This guy's actually really smart. Like, okay, be nice, and you get more. What's that? You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. More flies with honey than you do with vinegar. I don't know. Whatever this saying is. It's one of those sayings. Bukele will need all the help he can get. His country's homicide rate at 51 per 100,000 in 2018 is among the deadliest in the world. Reported disappearances have increased, and the incidence of femicide, the intentional killing of women because of their gender, is the highest in Latin America. A recent study, Corruption in El Salvador, Politicians, Police, and Transportistas, makes for harrowing reading. The grim report helps explain why astounding 22% of El Salvadorians have fled their country. Let's see. And headed to the United States. But those fleeing aren't refugees escaping persecution and entitled to protection in the U.S. They're fleeing crime and corruption, both of which can be found in abundance throughout the world. In fact, I saw a clip this morning, and it showed a clip from President Obama talking in 2014 saying, hey, look, because you live in a bad neighborhood or your country's got a lot of crime doesn't make you a refugee. Refugee asylum status is a very specific thing. You got a high burden to meet. So, if you're saying, hey, I got crime in my country, Obama's like, hey, join the club. Doesn't make you an asylum seeker. If you want to come here for a better life, okay, get in line. And that was him saying that just 5 years ago. Go figure. Boy, times have changed. If he said that today, it'd be like, get out of here. They'd be calling Obama a racist. You're a racist, Obama. Obama would be like, what? Because, yeah, you suck. Like, really? Just Trump wanted to just take all those speeches Obama gave and Schumer gave and just literally put on his teleprompter word for word the same speech, and just say and don't even give Schumer or Obama credit during the speech, and say, oh, by the way, remember where I said this and I said that? I took that word from President Obama. I took that word for word from Chuck Schumer. I took word for word from this from Hillary Clinton. So just let you know. Let's see. So that's what he ought to do. Let's see. Let's see. Experts agree that reducing corruption curbs violent crime and thereby reduces the incentive for people to leave their homelands. Conversely, embezzled money siphoned away from public services cripples civic structures that tamp down and prevent violence. Trump took aim at the region's embezzling corrupt oligarchs early this year when he cut $500 million in U.S. foreign aid to El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. Clearly, the diverted money was not buying a better life for the vast majority of people exiting those impoverished, crime-ridden countries. Yeah, we were sending a bunch of money down there, and the few people at the top were pocketing it, and it wasn't going to help anybody. Sounds kind of like Puerto Rico. And we discussed this the other day. It was like, and I haven't done any research on it yet, and I do apologize. Because what I said I wanted to do is like, England went around and colonized, countries, became countries in the world. It's a certain kind of law and order that existed. And then where Spain went around, it seemed like any place they colonized, there's a certain amount of corruption, just huge amounts of corruption involved in it. And you kind of wonder, like, did Spain have a kind of history of corruption itself, and they kind of brought that with them to the New World? I don't know. But it seems like wherever Spain went, the country's turned into crap and highly corrupt and inefficient and just a disaster, waiting to happen, still with full of natural resources. And it seems like where the English went, I don't know, the people who came from England versus Spain, it seems like they, I don't know, they just seem like, I don't know, harder working, more about delayed gratification, more about, teamwork, more about community, more about responsibility, more about agency than their Spanish counterparts. And I just don't know why. I'm not sure what the deal is. Maybe because the Moors were in Spain longer than anywhere else in Europe. I don't know. Maybe because the Catholic Church was in Spain had a lot more power in Spain than in other countries. England had the Reformation, not the Reformation. I'm sorry, where they broke away from the Catholic Church. The Reformation was in Germany, but similar along those lines. So maybe because of the Catholic Church, and back then the Catholic Church was highly corrupt. You can buy your way into heaven, paying indulgences, to a priest, to a bishop, give a certain amount of money. They said, okay, you're going to heaven. Yeah, you've done all these horrible things, but you still go to heaven. Just give us some cash. And then people, of course, are stupid enough to give them the money, thinking like this would buy their way in. I guess they did some pretty horrible things. So anyway, it's worth looking into, though, why Spain brought with them so much corruption and inefficiency and just garbage versus the English, who wherever they colonized somewhere was very efficient, and things got done, and you end up with countries like Canada and the United States, and versus Spain. You end up with like Central America, South America, those countries of Philippines initially, just places that just are crappy. And there's no reason for them to be crappy. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea why. So, but that'd be a great little research project. If anybody wants to do one of those, that'd be fine with me. That no problem. But anyway, see, Christine Wade, an associate professor of political science and international studies at Washington College, specializing in Central America, noted we spend on violence, violence reduction, militarized policing, and so forth, and very little toward governance. Let's see. Bukele's anti-corruption campaign is a refreshing burst of self-awareness in a country that has been in denial far too long. It remains to be seen whether he can stem the Salvadoran portion of the human tide flowing towards the United States. Well, I mean, he keeps talking. He keeps taking. Now, see, we were just saying this: agency and responsibility for one's own actions. And, if he keeps, acting like that, where he's saying, "Hey, look, we take some of the blame here on what's going on," and as far as this, why do they flee our country? And if they're just fleeing because of crime, that doesn't really make you a refugee. It means they're lying when they get to the border. Then, this guy got pissed that he had to wait in line, so he figured, I'll just take my little 2, 3-year-old daughter and swim the Rio Grande. Totally irresponsible. And then of course it's everybody else's fault that, again, there goes the lack of agency, the lack of responsibility, right back at you. You know. So, but anyway, let's get to the next story here. Wi-Fi crashed on phone still listening. Wi-Fi crash. You probably need a computer expert, Effie. You probably need somebody who knows something about computers. I don't know. I know a lot about, music and mixer boards and, you know, YouTube creator content production, but not a lot about, Wi-Fi. Well, actually, I know a little bit about Wi-Fi, but not enough I know enough about Wi-Fi to get me in trouble. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's what I know about Wi-Fi. Enough to get me in trouble. So let's see here. Get the next story. Where are we? This was a good one. So let's get to this. Administration putting priority on MS-13 animals is paying off. Yes, it is. As you heard in Trump's rally last night, I'm sure a lot of you watched this rally. If you didn't watch it, if you can go back and find it, it's definitely worth watching. Definitely good. That's where the crowd started yelling, "Send her back! Send her back!" Probably not our best moment, but it was an emotional thing, and they were pretty emotional. She said some pretty horrible things. In fact, you know what? We'll get to that in a second here, real quick. You saw like I put in the. In fact, let me get it back up here. Which one was it? I want to mix up the wrong one. There we go. You saw here where Israel is thinking about keeping on Ilan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Their legislature, which means everybody. It wasn't just Netanyahu's party, passed a law saying that anybody who's in favor of boycott and divestment from Israel, it's a boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Anybody who's in favor of that against Israel, the president, their foreign office can keep that person out of out of Israel, keeping them out of the country. So anyway, Tlaib and Omar were getting ready for a trip to Israel, which of course they were just going to be causing trouble anyway. They're going to do one of those things like when they went down to the border and say, "Oh, look how horrible it is." They go to Israel and say, "Oh, look how horrible it is." I mean, if I was Israel, I'd say, hey, you know what? Screw you. Stay in your own country. To it, our country, the United States. Like, go back to the United States. Now, it'd be funny. Netanyahu telling these two, go back to the United States. What would they say then? It's like, oh, they told us to go back to the United States, and it's like, yeah, what? It's like, oh, yeah. I guess he could say that, and I guess it's okay because we're in the United States. But he could say, go back to the United States, leave us alone. So anyway, so it looks like they're keeping him out. And then Ilhan Omar, of course, after her little fun press conference and not having a pulse on the American, not having a finger on the pulse of the American people, decides today to go out and she talks about wanting to support this boycott, divestment, and sanctions thing. In fact, at the same time, the House is actually the Democrats in the House are going to pass a measure condemning the boycott, divestment, sanctions, and so she wants to introduce a measure at the same time to support it, a resolution to support it. Saying that we should boycott and divest, and sanction Israel. Because she thinks, hey, because Pelosi had to kiss her ass, she can just go put something up there, and nobody's going to stop her. Because Pelosi's like, oh, but we'll see if Pelosi, gets her testicles back and says to her, hey, look, that's nice, but I'm not putting that on the floor. I'm not even put it on the floor for a debate. Oh, you racist. Yeah, you can cry that all you want. Go screw yourself. If I was Pelosi, I'd get with like Nadler and those guys and say, hey, look, man, okay, I can't deal with this woman on my own. Can you take care of this? And you just tell her to shut up, okay? And you go, oh, you're a misogynist. Yeah, tell Nadler's misogynist or something, something stupid. But anyway, so let's get to this MS-13 story, and then we'll jump over to Omar real quick here. So as you saw, and you talked about just over a year ago, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had a stunning response to President Trump's use of animals to characterize members of the brutal MS-13 gang. And she said, calling people animals is not a good thing, she said before speeding out of her news briefing. A 78-page federal indictment released this week charges 22 individuals with ties to MS-13 of committing a series of medieval-style murders and shows in excruciating detail just how wrong Pelosi and those in the media who supported her criticism was. In one 2017 murder, several MS-13 gang members sought revenge against a rival gang member by abducting, choking, and then driving the victim to a remote location in the Angeles National Forest, actually a nice place. He was then attacked with a machete. The victim was dismembered and his body parts were thrown into a canyon after one of the defendants allegedly cut the heart out of the victim's body. Tom Mosick, spokesman of the U.S. Attorney's Office, told the LA Times 19 of the 22 defendants were illegal immigrants who crossed the U.S. in the last 4 years, and so were their victims. So 19 of the 22 defendants were illegals. Okay? 19 of the 22 were illegals and protected by California sanctuary law. And here they are cutting people with machetes and committing crime in our community, primarily from El Salvador and Honduras. I mean, that's, but hey, it's okay. Just let them in because, hey, they're peace-loving people, just real peace-loving people. Just let them all in. No problem. Nothing to see here. So, anyway, I know you guys saw that story. But, let me get to the Omar story here because this really kind of pissed me off. Beyond no end. Where is it? So here we go. Ilhan Omar invokes boycott of Nazi Germany resolution supporting Israel boycott. So yeah, she said, well, we did it to Nazi Germany, so we should do it to Israel. I mean, she doesn't care now. See, now she feels that this is great. What Trump did was great because now she feels all emboldened. She thinks she can do whatever she wants, and nobody can say shit to her because if they do, they're going to call her. You can say you're Islamophobic, you're a racist, or whatever. So she's like, oh, she can just get on the floor and say this, and she thinks nobody's going to touch her. Well, you better think twice because again, it takes a few minutes to get past this thing where they have to all jump on Trump's ass. But eventually, at some point, sometime, somebody in the house is the adults are going to stand up and say, enough's enough. You know, so we'll see though. I don't know. Pelosi's kind of in a box. If she goes after this Omar chick, one, she get called racist and everything, but two, she'll say, "Oh, you're just really, with Trump. You and Trump are really together." And like, who knows? It's like, oh, this is a conspiracy. Have you noticed Schumer's been a little quiet on this whole thing? I mean, he really hasn't been blasting out too much. A little bit, but not a lot. It's kind of. I think he's holding back a little bit. So we'll see. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, Ian Omar invokes boycott of Nazi Germany resolution supporting Israel boycotts. Representative Ilan Omar, there we go. Yep. Ilan Omar introduced a resolution in support of the boycott, divest, sanctions movement, saying it was in a long tradition of U.S. boycotts. Americans of conscience have a proud history of participating in boycotts to advocate for human rights abroad, including, here we go, boycotting Nazi Germany from March of 1933 to October 41 in response to the dehumanization of the Jewish people in the lead up to the Holocaust. Omar said, so here she goes, she's comparing modern day Israel to Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany, the people who killed 6 million Jews. And she's doing that. And she thinks she can get away with it, obviously. And she just did because nobody called her out on it. She just did it. Well, we're calling her out here on Carl's Written. Hey, DA, how you doing there? Hey, Links. Let's see. But yeah, so she just did it. I mean, again, she after that press conference and everybody had to come to their defense. She thinks she can get away with this, and that's hilarious. And again, Trump's put Pelosi in a box. Like now, what's she supposed to do? So anyway, so the 1930s boycott by the U.S. Um, Jews of German goods came during the lead up to the Holocaust, starting in part with Germans boycotting Jewish businesses. In the resolution and also, hold on. In the resolution and also in committee hearing, Omar also compared the BDS movement to the Boston Tea Party. That's amazing. So also, so boycotting Israel is comparable to us boycotting the British monarchy. Yeah, you know what? Just stop making analogies. Just call it. Just say, look. Just say, hey, I'm Ilhan Omar. I hate Israel. I hate Jewish people, and and that's the way it is. And then you don't have to compare. You don't have to make analogies to other things. Just there's a picture of her, of course. Uh, ugh. Omar announced her resolution Tuesday in an interview with Al Monitor. We're introducing a resolution to really speak about the American values, to support and believe. What does she know about American values? She renounces them every chance she gets. To really speak about the American values that support and believe in our ability to exercise our First Amendment rights in regard to boycotting. The Minnesota Democrat. And it is an opportunity for us to explain why it is we support a nonviolent movement, which is the BDS movement. Omar said she plans on introducing the BDS resolution this week. This is the best part. Around the same time, House Democratic leaders plan on voting on a resolution condemning the movement. So the House Democratic leadership, Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, etc., is planning on introducing a resolution and voting on actually a resolution condemning the BDS. And Omar, on her own, a freshman years ago, a freshman congressperson, thinks she can actually push a resolution onto the floor, and get it voted on while the House leadership is saying, no, we're doing just the opposite. But she thinks she can, and it'd be kind of funny to see if they let her, because, right now they're afraid of her. They're afraid of her and AOC and Tlaib and Presley. So let's see if she gets away with it. She'll have her 3 women up there with her and on another press conference saying how she needs to do this. So anybody who is anti-Semitic out there, let me just show you. This is your ally right here, Ilhan Omar. Let me just show you that. See, that's who you're with. You're with Ilhan Omar. If you're anti-Semite, there's your friend right there. Join her cause. Send some money to her for her reelection campaign in 2020, and send her emails and love and kisses and show how much you support what she believes in. Because if you're anti-Semitic, this is your ally right here, Ilhan Omar and her ilk. Okay, just let you know. By the way. Anyway, she goes on to say, I believe and support the BDS movement and have fought to make sure people's right to support it isn't criminalized. Her support for the controversial movements also comes with a trove of comments that both Republicans and Democrats have said are anti-Semitic. Omar tweeted in 2012 that Israel has hypnotized the world. Boogity boo boogie boo, like they're hypnotizing you. Boogity boo, boogity boo, hypnotize. You're getting very sleepy. She's an idiot. Anyway, and then she writes, "Oh, here we go." So again, if you're anti-Semitic, you're with these people. And so go ahead, go home tonight, or write somewhere. Write down, Israel has hypnotized people. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. So if you're anti-Semite, this is your girl, and you should write this down and put it up on a poster somewhere and say, and ask Allah to awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. That's who you are. Okay? These are your friends. These idiots. Ilhan Omar and those nuts. And AOC and everybody else. So if you're anti-Semite, become a Democrat, join the Democratic Party, and call the Justice Democrats, say you're with them and you want to send them some money because you want them to win. Okay? These are who your friends are. Anyway, after winning her seat in 2018, she also accused the American Israel Political Action Committee of buying influence from U.S. politicians for Israel. And by the way, AIPAC, much smaller than AARP, spends much less money, has much less influence. We were talking about this the other night about AARP, the most powerful lobbyist group in D.C., American Association for Retired People. Okay? So there you go. Buying influence from U.S. politicians for Israel, a statement for which she later apologized and said was anti-Semitic. Omar was criticized in February for using the dual loyalty trope when she said certain people in the U.S. wanted allegiance to Israel. Then she did the Benjamin thing. She did not apologize for the comments, but added that she should not be expected to have allegiance, pledge support for a foreign country. Well, she has allegiance to Sharia law. She has allegiance to Islam. She has allegiance to all those Al-Qaeda. She has allegiance to the Taliban. I mean, she has allegiance to all those people. That's okay, though. It's okay. No problem. ISIS. She has allegiance to ISIS. Anyway. In May, Omar defended Palestinians after terrorists rained rockets on Israel. How many more protesters must be shot? Rockets must be fired and little kids must be killed. Well, that's what you're doing to people in Israel. Until the endless cycle of violence ends. The status quo of occupation is not occupation. It's like saying well, actually, she thinks it's occupation because remember, she thinks we, the American people, are occupying the United States of America. Okay? So, she's an idiot. Anyway, there she is. And then in response to this, we get this. Netanyahu could deny Ilhan Omar Rashida Tlaib entrance into Israel. I don't blame him. I'd say, yeah, like I said, go back to the United States. I'd let him land. Let him make the long flight. It's a long flight. It's probably, 20, I don't know, 18 hours. Something like that. But anyway, they can make that long, stupid plane flight. Then when they land, say, oh, sorry, you have to go home. Get them right in customs before they even get out of customs. You're in customs. You're stuck in. Anybody who's ever been in customs for a few minutes, it's a pain in the ass. You can't smoke or anything. It's terrible. But anyway, so I believe Islam is a cult. I mean, it's for retards actually. I mean, if you read any of the Quran, you're like, who wrote this? But anyway, so Netanyahu, that's what I said. I'd let him land, get inside of customs, and have the custom guys say, "Sorry, you have to go back home," and then wait in customs until they can get a return flight, and then sit in there, which again is not a fun place to be sitting. But anyway, you're not entitled to use a phone, not entitled to an attorney, not entitled to anything. Just let them sit there, and then they can wait for the return flight. That's what I would do. So here we go. Israeli, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could prevent Democratic reps Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from entering Israel over their support for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. The lawmakers plan on visiting Israel and the West Bank in the coming weeks, but Israeli law allows officials to deny entry to anyone who supports the boycott of Israel. Good for them. Hartz reported to Thursday that the congresswoman could be allowed to enter if the foreign ministry recommends a waiver on the basis that they are political figures, and the denial of entrance would have a negative effect on U.S.-Israeli relations. First of all, it would not have a negative effect. Hey, Jervis man. First of all, it would not have a negative effect on U.S.-Israeli relations. Okay, with who? Who's going to have a negative effect on? Some congressman? What? Really? I don't think so. Boom. Yeah, I mean, nobody. I mean, I'm not going to think badly of Israel if they keep him out. Well, I might think badly because it's like, damn, can't you let him in for like a month and leave him there? Can't you like keep him there for like a month, keep him from us? But other than that, I'm not going to be mad at him. I don't think anybody else is going to be mad. It's not going to affect you as Israeli relations. Say, look, now these two people are idiots. They're supporting divestment, boycotting our country, the destruction of our country. No, we don't want them here. I mean, I think that's fair. I think they can say that. You know. All right. Hey, good night, Rita. Good seeing you. But have a good one, young lady. So anyway, so then Omar and Tlaib were the first Muslim women to be elected to Congress last year, and of course they've made it really easy for everybody else to get elected. Omar of Minnesota was born in Somalia and came to the U.S. as a refugee. Tlaib was born in Michigan to Palestinian parents. Both have been outspoken about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, leading to accusations that they are anti-Semitic, which they are. And they say about what Omar said. And then Tlaib was criticized herself in May. Let's see, hold on. Tlaib was criticized in May after she said the Holocaust gave her kind of a, what's that word? Kind of a calming feeling. Because Palestinians helped create a safe haven for Jews in the aftermath. That's weird. That's really strange. Okay, that's crazy. Netanyahu and President Trump have had a close alliance since the president was elected. Trump has targeted the congresswomen in the past week, telling them to go back to the countries from which they came. Yep. And here's a funny story we'll get to. It's like I don't know who's running Kamala Harris's campaign, but whoever it is really pissing me off. Because if you remember correctly, I predicted Kamala Harris would get the Democratic nomination, and so whoever's running her campaign is really, and she's pissing me off too. I'm not going to lay it off on whoever's running it because it's her campaign. Because since I predicted she would win, she's doing everything humanly possible to disprove me and make me look stupid. So I'm really getting tired of the potential of looking stupid when she doesn't get the nomination because she's doing stupid shit. For instance, she didn't know that Joe Biden was against busing until Jake Tapper told her. Then, after she got that little bounce from that whole, racism busing bullshit stuff, what did she do? Does she have something ready in the pipeline to go, to keep the momentum going? Some big policy position to put out, some big something? No, nothing. So, of course, she gets a little bounce, goes up a little bit, and then, of course, then after a little time goes by, it goes right back down again. So she didn't capitalize. It's like in military. She made a breach into the wall, and then she didn't follow up with the reserves to, go into the wall and destroy the enemy. No, she didn't do shit. Then she had to walk back the statement that she wanted Medicare for all and nobody having private insurance. Then not seeing, I don't know how she didn't see this. The 60 million Americans that have private health insurance, and a good many of them are union members, and unions have always been the backbone of the Democratic Party as far as support, money, staff, everything. And then suddenly the unions contact her campaign and say, "Hey, what the shit? We're not happy with that." And the firefighters union endorsed Biden because Biden's in favor of keeping Obamacare, which is a private insurance, public kind of situation. And she had to walk that one back. That was really brilliant. Well, yeah, that's not what I meant. And she's had to walk back the health care for illegal aliens because, of course, she didn't think that one through. And now she's using the line, you can keep your doctor if you want to on Medicare for all. I mean, President Obama said that, and that got into a lot of shit. Did anybody realize, hey, that's maybe not a great thing to say? And there's another story about her coming up where she did a plea deal, this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. Now, it wasn't to the level of Jeffrey Epstein, but it was the mayor of San Diego, Fennell, I think it was. And supposedly he, well, I'll tell you what, we'll get to that story. In fact, let's just jump over to that one. We'll jump back to this one in a second here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get to it. There we go. Plea deal by Kamala Harris AG's office for sexual harassing San Diego mayor was too lenient, critics say. The guy was facing up to 5 years in prison. He sexually harassed a whole bunch of women in the workplace and everywhere else over years. And she got him a deal because he's a Democrat, and she's a Democrat, and basically it was like take some kind of a felony, but probation, house arrest, and the guy still get to keep some of his mayoral pension. He still gets to keep some of his pension from when he was mayor. So, I mean, what, nobody knew this story was coming? Because you read the response, we'll get to it. I mean, what, nobody knew this question was going to get asked? They didn't see this one coming down the pipe either? I mean, again, who's running her campaign? I mean, this is like a bunch of idiots over there. So let's take a look here. Plea deal by Kamala Harris AG office for sexual harassing San Diego mayor was too lenient, critics say. All right. Kamala Harris, there we go. There we go. Kamala Harris's presidential campaign biography rests heavily on her career as a prosecutor, including 6 years as California Attorney General. But it omits a plea deal her office negotiated for former San Diego Mayor Bob Filner, a serial sexual harasser, which let him escape jail time and avoid registering as a sex offender. In 2013, about 20 women, this guy was busy, 20 women accused Filner, a two-decade Democratic congressman turned San Diego mayor, of sexual harassment and misconduct. Some said he put them in the Filner headlocks, in quotes. So that must have been something like where like he grabbed them around the neck and held them close to him, kind of like Joe Biden, yeah, there you go. Harris's office drew considerable criticism in 2013. So obviously he was in the public realm. So obviously they knew somebody would see it because it was only 6 years ago, and it caught a lot of news in California. So I mean, all you had to do was Google. So they had to knew something was coming down. But anyways, we'll see. The thing I'm pissed off about is the campaign's response. It's like this. You'll see this. Like this is the best they had to say. Anyway, Harris's office drew considerable criticism in 2013 for allowing Filner to plead guilty to state charges of false imprisonment and battery against three Jane Does in exchange for a life sentence. Right. So they had 20 victims. They let him plead to three victims and false imprisonment and battery against blah blah blah. So Filner could have faced up to 5 years in prison, but the plea bargain instead gave him 3 months of house arrest, 3 years probation, and partial loss of his pension. Some of the criticism persists today, with past lenient sentences looking less understandable after a swath of prominent men drummed themselves out of the public life over sexual harassment episodes. The cultural change since Me Too is having an impact on how prosecutors listen to victims now. I think it all comes down to whether we believe women and how seriously we take the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyway, here we go. A spokesman for Harris's presidential campaign, Ian Sams, idiot, said of the Filner episode, quote, she prosecuted a politician from her own party. Like, oh, wow, that's not supposed to be a big deal. Like, he was a Democrat, and she still went after him. Wow, she's tough. Really? This guy actually said that part out loud. Like, making it seem like it's a politician from her own party, because normally she wouldn't have done that. What an idiot. But anyway, she prosecuted a politician from her own party for sexual harassment, and he pled guilty to a felony. She was broadly praised for taking action. By who? Including by the Republican San Diego County District Attorney, who said it sent a strong message. Well, she's supposed to take action. That's her job. Who said it sent a strong message that nobody's above the law. Abuse of women won't be tolerated. Victims will be treated with respect. Yeah, that's it. That's the best they could do on their response to that. With the whole Me Too thing, the Epstein thing, everything in the news, the best they come up with is, hey, she prosecuted a politician from her own party and got a felony. I mean, come on, that's pretty good. No, it's not pretty good. It's nothing. She's the AG. She's not supposed to be a Democrat or Republican. She's the Attorney General. She's top law enforcement officer in the state of California. We just saw that with Loretta Lynch. Okay, what happens when somebody acts like a Democrat instead of a law enforcement officer? We just saw what that happened with the whole Clinton bullshit and the whole Trump bullshit and all the other bullshit. So she's making it sound like that's bragging rights to say, well, she went after a Democrat. No, that's what you're supposed to do. The guy committed the crime. You're supposed to prosecute him. Not for you to say he's innocent or whatever. You're supposed to, if you got probable cause, you're a prosecutor, you prosecute him. And then she let the guy off with a plea deal. Well, that's because he was a Democrat. So, one is saying, well, she went after a Democrat, but then she let him off the hook. Again, I guarantee if that had been a Republican, not so quickly. Hey, Rocky, how you doing? So, all right. Dunk. So anyway, live call-in show, 775-273-8970, or you can appear by vMix video call, and you send me an email saying, hey, I want to appear by vMix video call. I send you a reply with the link. You hit said link, you come into the call, we have a conversation, and there you go. Just put in the chat, say, hey, I sent you an email, because I got the email on a window in front of me, but it's not open, but I'm looking right at it. Inbox. There you go. So it takes me a second to go click, but I still have to know you did it. So, hey. All right. So anyway, let's see. So let's take a look at the next story here. And it turns out, speaking of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who face off in Detroit, his second DNC debate lineup is revealed. Da da da, da 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 da. Biden versus Harris, and then it's going to be Sanders versus Warren, the two top draws for both nights. Yeah, they want to put. I wish they'd put them all on stage together: Biden, Harris, Warren, and Sanders. But they want the ratings, so they want to mix it up. Okay, whatever. Let's see. The second Democratic National Committee debate in Detroit this month will see former Vice President Joe Biden, who's getting weaker and weaker by the moment, face off against Senator Kamala Harris, who's not looking so good lately. She better come up. I mean, again, I predicted that she would win the Democratic nomination, and she's making me look bad. So stop it. Okay, against Senator Kamala Harris, again on the second night of the series to be hosted by CNN. The candidates to appear on July 30th will be Montana Governor Steve Bullock, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, former Maryland Representative John Delaney, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, who's going nowhere, former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, well, and I got to do this, and Beto O'Rourke. Yep, there you go. Ohio Representative Tim Ryan, who looks lost. And looks, I'm sorry, I wear a lot of suits, so I can say this. His suits, man, they look awful. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now. He looks like his mother dressed him. It looks like he's a kid, going to church, and his mom bought him a suit, from like Sears or something. Okay, yes, that sounds elitist. I know, tough shit. Get over it. But anyway, his suits look like shit. Okay, I'm sorry. Man, I'm sorry, a man with no style. Now Trump wears good clothes. Okay, I mean you could tell. I mean, look, if you're wearing suits for a living, you can like take a. You don't have to even spend. Let me tell you something. You do not have to spend a lot of money to wear nice suits. Okay, you can buy nice suits that don't cost a lot of money, but you have to have good taste. Now here's a problem: the man has no taste, obviously, or his wife who's picking him out, she has no taste, and there are women like that who have no taste. Okay, so something's going on there. Whatever it is, there's an issue in his household, and if you got issues, if you got problems at home. I don't want that man with his hands near the nuclear button because now I'm beginning to put this together. He obviously has problems at home. So, yeah, keep his hands off the nuclear button. Of course, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and of course, Pocahontas, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and and the crazy chick, Marianne Williamson. The contenders to be showcased on July 31st will include Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, former VP Joe Biden, Mayor Bill de Blasio. Oh, they're going to be trying to muscle in for time. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, former Obama Housing Secretary Julian Castro, Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard, the only one who's halfway sane out of that bunch. I only say halfway because she got some goofy issues on some other stuff. But New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, the Clinton favorite, California Senator Kamala Harris, of course, we just talked about her, Washington Governor Jay Inslee, who's a complete idiot, and entrepreneur Andrew Yang, who wants to give everybody $1,000 a month or whatever to live on. Yay. The lineup means Texans, Castro, and O'Rourke. Let me grab some water. Oh yeah, real funny, Effie. Yeah, I was gonna rub that in. Harris is faltering. Yeah, well, again, if they would just hire me to run the campaign, then I'd get her the nomination. Then after she got the nomination, I'd quit. Then the morons can take over and then lose in the general. See, that's what I would do. Or I'd get a bunch of money, and then split. But first I'd make sure she got the nomination so I could say, "See, I told you," and everybody say, "Why did you do it?" And I said, Should show Effie Loves America that, yes, I was right. She's going to win the nomination. All right, so let's see. The lineup means Texans Castro and O'Rourke. Williamson. All right. The lineup means Texans Castro and O'Rourke will not be able to reprise their clash over the decriminalization of illegal border crossings, which catapulted Castro's national name recognition. Yeah, it's funny how that gets catapulted by recommending something stupid, which then he walked back himself. Castro actually walked that back. 'Cause remember, he said, "Who are in favor of decriminalizing illegal aliens?" He made everybody raise their hand. And Laurie's like, "Oh, thanks." So anyway, he raised his hand. So they asked him about it like a day or two later. Well, so you're in favor of decriminalizing illegal aliens? Because Joe Scarborough and a lot of other moderate Dems jumped on his ass the next morning, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't say decri. What do you say?" He goes, "I didn't say to make. Oh, he goes, I didn't say to make it legal. I just said not to make it illegal. There would still be a civil penalty, and we covered it that a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago actually. So basically, they have to pay a civil penalty, which these people are not collectible because they're using fake names anyway, and fake social security numbers. You can't find them. So, like, you say, okay, you're fined. We'll see you in a year. Pay us. Well, of course, people vanish. So, but even he had to walk it back after he caught a bunch of shit. So, no, he's an idiot. Have you ever heard him speak? He's a moron. I watched his inauguration, not inauguration. God, I want to, don't jinx that. I watched his announcement speech. Well, now that I said it, there he is. But anyway, I watched his announcement speech when he was announcing for running for president, and it was just terrible. But anyway, they had mariachi band. It was real stereotypical trash. It was like, God, like you're stereotyping yourself. I mean, it's just really disgusting. But anyway, let's see. And boosted his polling and fundraising numbers while Biden and Harris may continue their clashes over busing and Medicare for all. The first night will likely be defined by popular Sanders and Warren. The second night includes all the minority prospects seeking the presidency. The draw was conducted on live TV to ensure transparency, according to CNN. It also took place after the hopefuls were split into three groups per their polling averages to ensure frontrunners were not clustered together in one broadcast. The debates present a make or break opportunity for candidates looking to keep their presidential aspirations alive before more stringent criteria are imposed for the September and October events. To qualify for the September 12th and September 13th debates hosted by ABC News and Univision in Houston, contenders will need to attract. Okay, so September 12th and September 13th are the next round of debates. That's going to be in Houston. That'll be fun. Great city, by the way. If you've never been to Houston, great city. Contenders will need to attract by August 28th at least 2%. Oh, good. Instead of the 1%. Should have made it. So I would have gone to 4. I would say they need at least 4%. Screw that. At least 2% support in 4 polls and 130,000 unique donors with 400 contributors from 20 states. The same threshold will apply for the October series. And it's funny, these campaigns are spending like $40 per person to get them to become a donor. In other words, they're spending $40 saying, look, just give us $1, and that makes you an individual donor so we can qualify for the debate. Because if you don't qualify for the debate, you're not going anywhere. I mean, that's the end of it. End of story. So $40 per person. That's hilarious. A lot of these campaigns are bleeding money left way and sideways. Just they're not making it. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see. Bullock is the only new face to feature in July after he failed to meet the standards to secure one of 20 spots available in last month's opening debates in Miami. The governor replaces California Representative Eric Swalwell, idiot, who last week dropped out of the White House contention. Former Alaska Senator Mike Gravel, Miramar, Florida Mayor Wayne Messman, Massachusetts Representative Seth Moulton, former Pennsylvania Representative Joe Sistak, and billionaire hedge fund manager Tom Steyer will miss out on the Detroit debates. While Sistak and Steyer only just entered the race, at least Gravel is anticipated to rethink his candidate. Our aim is to qualify for this month's debate. It's unlikely we'll qualify. We already did it, so yeah. Well, see you later. Have a nice day. I know what to tell you. So let's see what else we got to get to here. Again, live call-in show 775-273-8970. Boom, 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 boom. And that's me. Hey. All right, let's take a look here. Do, 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 do. Yeah, and you saw in the description that the number of actually, and I'll read this one little piece, right, little blurb right here. Before Trump negotiated the deal with Mexico, Homeland Security had to release more than 1,200 illegal immigrants into the U.S. interior every single day. Now that asylum seekers have to wait in Mexico until their cases are adjudicated, rather than being released into American communities to await their hearings, fewer than 200 illegal immigrants are being released each day, an 85% decrease. Think about that. 85 from 1,200 per day to 200 per day being released into the United States, and we got to deal with Mexico. There is a loophole which I'm not going to cover, but there's a loophole. If I covered it, you'd be like, "That's crazy." But anyways, a loophole that wasn't written down on paper, but it hasn't got a lot of attention, so hopefully it won't get a lot of attention. But there is a loophole that you don't have to go to Mexico, and it's amazing if I said what it was, but I'm not going to. You don't get to find out. Well, maybe if you call in, you do, but I doubt it. I still won't let you know. So there you go. All right, let's take a look here. All right, we got one more story to cover, so we'll cover it right here. All right, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, chief challenges Democrats to help improve conditions at the border. All right. Acting Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McClellan told Congress on Thursday that the answer to troubling stories of overcrowding of illegal immigrants at the border is to increase money for ICE detention in the interior, putting the burden back on the Democrats most vocal in complaining about the conditions. Mr. McClellan testified to Congress as the finger pointing over the border reached new depths, with some top Democrats lodging accusations of torture and Nazi-style tactics against federal law enforcement, citing the masses of illegal immigrant adults kept in unsanitary conditions at border facilities, which is hilarious, by the way. I've been looking at. I see. Interesting observation, Solex. Yeah, she's not as vibrant. I think actually, you know what it might be, and I hate to say this, but it might be she's really working hard. I really hate to say that, but hey, Fred, how you doing, man? Good seeing you. But maybe she's working really, really hard. She got in there. She didn't realize how much work it would be. I mean, being a bartender, hanging out, serving people drinks, bullshitting, doing whatever. That's different than actually having to run up and down the halls of Congress every 10 minutes. But yeah, it is taking a toll on her. I didn't. I noticed now that you mentioned. I didn't notice it. I don't want to say I did also, but now that you're mentioning it, I'm thinking about it, and yeah, I think you're right. So, but yeah. So, hey, and like I said, good seeing you, Fred. And good seeing you, Solex. So let's see. Let's go continue with this story here. The solution, Mr. McClellan said, is to get them out of the custody of Border Patrol and into the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. But Congress last month refused to give ICE another infusion of cash, leaving the agency struggling for bed space and forcing the migrants to remain at the border for weeks on end. And those facilities were not meant to keep people for a long time. So it's a detention facility. Anybody will tell you about detention facilities. You're not meant to be housed there for a long time. We requested thousands more beds than we got, he said. That's why we're experiencing that backup at the border. After a couple of weeks of allegations of child abuse and even homicide, the latter charge lodged at the administration by the top Democrat in the Judiciary Committee, Mr. McClellan got a chance to push back directly to lawmakers disputing a number of the claims that they have made after border visits. He firmly rejected the notion that illegal immigrants are forced to get their drinking water from toilets. Instead, reports that migrants are forced to go without showers, to defecate in blankets, and to sit in dirty clothes are unfounded. He said migrants do, in fact, have toothbrushes. He said, imagine that saying, well, you don't give them toothbrushes. That's like, Jesus Christ, they came here illegally. By the boat, not boatload. They don't need a boat. They come walk across by the thousands. And when we weren't set up for this, you didn't give us any money to deal with the new numbers. Oh, that's right. You just wanted us to release them into the interior. Oh, okay. That was your plan. Oh yeah. Okay. Thanks. Um. Anyway, so that monitor, he said, never. Let's see. Hold on. He firmly rejected the notion that illegal immigrants are forced to get their drinking water from toilets. Up. Got a phone call. Hey, Miss Effie Loves America. How you doing?
Hi, Mr. Carl. I'm trying to fix my Wi-Fi, so I can't
Oh.
read and talk it and sound intelligent. But I can't read your chat or anything right now because I'm on my phone and I was watching you on my phone. So
Gotcha.
resetting my Wi-Fi now, but I don't know what's going on around here. My whole house is falling apart, Carl. Daggone it. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
So that's what's going on here. But yeah, Solix is right. I mentioned that to you a couple weeks ago. AOC is not aging well, and the poor thing, she's not that old. And I remember I said she's starting to look like mini Nancy Pelosi. And whatever vampire juice Nancy Pelosi's drinking, maybe she's sharing. But I don't know. It's kind of stunning. She really is. Yeah, she's not looking. She's looking peaked. That's all I'm saying.
No.
But,
Well, I think. Well, no, I think what it is, let's be honest. When you're a bartender, you work in that kind of trade. I mean, yeah, you're on your feet, but you're kind of goofing off. I mean, you're having fun. The music's playing in the background. You're having a good time. You're getting laid a lot. I mean, that kind of shit. It's not like I mean, you wake up in the morning.
Don't. Now maybe I'm misremembering because I'm so ancient, but didn't you have to work to get through college?
Well, not necessarily. Remember, her folks had some cash.
Oh, okay.
Her folks were well off. They lived in a really nice neighborhood. Yeah, they weren't living in the Bronx. They moved to like Westchester County.
Right.
They lived in a really nice place. So no, I mean, I had to work through college. Yeah, that was me. But my guess is she didn't. She went straight through 4 years, and I don't think she got any kind of academic scholarship. So I doubt I doubt she got an academic scholarship to go to school. I don't think she's smart enough. But she did her 4 years.
You know what it is? I went to school in a STEM field, so I actually did work. I forgot. That's the difference.
Wait. Okay, I wasn't in a STEM field. I did plenty of work too. I did lots of reading, lots of writing. So I don't hear your shit.
Okay.
I don't hear your shit about that.
Lawyers get accused. You did a lot of work. Okay. I agree.
Yeah. Hey, obviously you didn't do enough work. Obviously you didn't do enough work because you got problems with the Wi-Fi, Miss Computer Lady. So what's going on with that? You should be.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pull out.
I didn't say anything about computers.
Pull out a screwdriver and fix your Wi-Fi. Go climb on top of a tower. I don't know what you got to do. Do it.
I went to AC technician school. I know nothing about computers. I'm just an AC technician. I fix air conditioners.
That's how you know. That's it. It's the AC lady. The AC lady. Wait. Your AC went out. Didn't your AC? Wait, your AC went out. If I'm not mistaken. So obviously that didn't work out too good for you either. So.
It's working now.
Now. Yeah, it's generally what happens when somebody else comes to your house and fixes it. When somebody else comes to your house and fixes it, yeah, it generally starts working. Oh, that's too good. Hey, did you notice that every?
I don't know anything about that.
Did you notice? Well, did you hear what I said earlier? I'm not sure if you were on, but I posted a chat in Sticks and Hammers live show on Saturday, and I said, "Hey, do you do live call-in shows?" And
yes.
Yeah. And it was funny. He goes, "Well, no, because you got to worry about."
He was responding. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, "No, you got to worry about YouTube and people put racist shit on." Then I wrote, "Oh, you need to get a zombie." And when he looked at it, I saw him look at it, and he thought I was trolling him, I guess. Get it? I go, you need to get a zombie.
That's his fault for not being being a fan of your show. He ought to learn stuff from somebody who knows what they're doing.
It's funny, and if you notice. Wait, what was that? Did you put on your YouTube or something? Or I heard myself in my ear all of a sudden. But
Me?
anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't
No,
never.
I don't have anything on.
Huh.
I have all my stuff down. I just have my phone on.
Wonder what that was. But anyway, it's funny about him
Mm-hmm.
because, remember we covered the night before everybody else started covering it. We talked about Trump's tweets and about what his political ideas were about it, and was it just something stupid or was it something planned? And then the next morning, that was after Tim Pool. Then Tim Pool, I haven't been on since then. But remember, Tim Pool walked back what he said the next day after that when Sticks and
Yes, I saw that.
yeah.
He probably also watched your show when he heard me bitching about it.
I would
Because
say
I was like,
that,
I was ready to,
or I'm more,
I was going to
yeah.
smack him right in the beanie. I was
Yeah,
mad
yeah, you were
at
pretty
him
pissed
and his
off.
beanie.
Hmm.
I was. I don't get that riled up too often, but no, actually I do, but I don't let it out always.
Well, you got to remember, even though
But yeah,
Tim's,
no,
even,
he picked me off big time.
well, you remember, even though Tim's a cool
Mm-hmm.
guy, he's still a young guy. Okay, young guys, they
He
still,
is.
right. It's
He's
like,
a whippersnapper.
yeah,
Whatever the heck a whippersnapper is, he's one of those. Not really
right.
sure what that is. It's just an old expression.
Yeah, I've never known what
But
that meant.
he's
Whippersnapper.
a young guy.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
What
So
is
in
a
other words,
whippersnapper?
he sees something and he gets mad without thinking about it because even Sargon and Sticks said, hey, relax for a second, think about this for 2 minutes, and then the next day he came out and he goes,
Yeah, there's a tragedy
yeah.
here, as Bugs Bunny said. You got to use tragedy.
And obviously it's work because you saw the story I covered before where Omar's going to introduce that thing to boycott and the boycott, divestment,
At the
sanction of
same
Israel.
time,
At
yes.
the same time,
Now, am
Pelosi and
I
friends.
mistaken? What you said was Democrats, her own party, were introducing basically the opposite bill resolution, rather,
Right.
which in the form of a bill, but it's her own party introducing it, not the Republicans. Is that what you said?
No, correct. It's the Democrats who are introducing an
Okay.
anti-boycott, divestment resolution again for Israel. I mean,
She,
yeah. And so she has the balls to, at the same time she can introduce that resolution. Well, Pelosi doesn't have to put it on the floor. They can just say, "Well, you know what? We're not even going to vote to table it. I'm just not going to bring it to the floor. I'm the damn speaker, and tough shit. Have a nice day."
well, sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, what happens when a resolution, when an introduced bill is never brought to the floor? Is it something that sort of lingers in the reposphere until somebody can pull it back in because it exists, because it's like once it's written, it exists,
Yeah.
kind
Now,
of a thing.
yeah,
Like
I'm
it
not
can be
sure.
brought up time and time and time again
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now,
until they wear them down.
I'm telling you right
Hmm.
now, I'm not positive if they have to do a motion to table it, or they can just the speaker can just let it sit out there and do nothing. I think she can just let it sit out there and do
Okay.
nothing. I don't think she has to do anything. And then if
Mm-hmm.
somebody ever wants to bring it up again in the future, yeah, you can try to reintroduce it, get it, and then or possibly maybe you need a number of Congress people to say we want at least have a vote on it. Like when they did the vote on this
Right.
impeachment thing, there was only 95. They brought the motion to table the impeachment proceedings brought by Al Green, and that got, it was voted
Mm-hmm.
yes by, 125 Democrats, all the Republicans, and then 95 voted against it. That'd be like Omar and her ilk. But that's still a pretty decent
Right.
number of
Right.
Democrats to want to
So what
impeach.
they want is Mike Pence to be president. That's what they're voting for.
Well, they want Mike Pence to be
They want
president
Mike
because
Pence to be
well,
president.
because they know damn well Mike Pence will probably not win re-election. Mike Pence is not a good campaigner.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Pence
Sure.
is not going to get Trump crowds. Mike Pence is not going to get people excited to go out and vote for him. So they know most likely Pence would get a primary challenger for sure.
He will if Trump stays, if the Trump campaign's with him. But yeah, that would be the only way.
Yeah. Yeah, then he get a primary
That sucks.
challenger, and then it split the Republican Party, and the Republican Party be weak, and Democrats have a better chance of
Mm-hmm.
winning in 2020.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting more. Maybe it's just because I'm 111 years old now, but it's getting to the point that I just laugh at people throwing the race card and all the other nonsense. I mean,
Well,
how many
actually,
times do we have to
yeah,
say it? Trump was not a racist until he was nominated. All of a
right.
sudden, he was a racist.
Oh yeah,
And they throw that same tattered, worn, dog-eared race car at everybody with an R next to their name, even if they're black, even if they're Latino. they they hate the Republican Party and calling people. But see that here's what the AOC and Ilhan Omar and the rest of them have broken ranks is that they're throwing that race card at their own party. And then Pelosi's like, hey, now. We don't throw the race card at our own party. We're immune because we have the D next to our name. And but what broke that open was the Me Too stuff when they started throwing the sexist at their own party. Once that broke, then all heck broke loose in the Dem Party. Because then it became open season. We can throw all these accusations to get our way. These youngins were raised at throwing false accusations at people's how you win. And so they're doing it even within their own party. And you know what the Bible says about that, Carl?
Thou shalt not.
The kingdom that stands.
What?
No, dear. The kingdom divided will not stand. So, yay. Let them keep throwing the race card at each other. It's going to affect them more than it affects, like Trump, obviously, it's not going to affect him. His supporters don't care.
Right.
And, you know, the people that think are going to think he's racist, they think everybody's racist. They thought Mitt Romney was racist, okay? Everybody's racist. You know, any idiot that thinks Trump is racist is just an idiot anyway. But anyway, the point being, it gets them literally nowhere with that. But within their own party, well, you know, that's a problem. That's a problem for them because that's the thing that works. The Twitter mobs are Democrats. The Twitter mobs that everybody's afraid of being called racist in front of, that they have to, quote, apologize to if they said one word out of context, blah, 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 they're all Democrats. They're the ravenous side of the Democrat, you know, the Twitterati. That's who they are. Their own people. So they're like piranha. I love it. Eating themselves. Anyway, I'm without computer right now, and I feel.
Oh, you must feel just
like
awful.
I've lost an arm, or I feel kind of sick, and I don't really know if I'm going to make it. Maybe I need to call an ambulance. They'll probably have a computer in the ambulance. Hook me up.
Hook you with a computer? Call Amazon.
My Wi-Fi.
Call Amazon.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Call Amazon.
It's my cable. My cable now. It's the.
Well, I mean, like,
connection is not my.
Well, you mean just like your, I mean, your Ethernet cable to your
router? We've been having storms, and it's apparently knocked me out. So I got knocked out.
You've been having
off and on storms.
Your cable from like your internet provider into the house? You mean that cable?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of cable is it? I mean, can you go buy it at the store and then climb up on the roof and replace it, or no? Or is it in the ground?
Well, not if it's the whole neighborhood. Not if it's the whole neighborhood, Carl.
Oh, the whole neighborhood's out.
I'm good, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, the whole neighborhood's out. Oh, I didn't know the whole neighborhood was out. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're down. So my power's working, so I'm happy. Everything's charged, so when my internet comes back, I'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm getting like four new pieces of hardware tomorrow, so it's like Christmas.
Ooh, I was like when I get new hardware because you can, software you can download.
Oh,
and it's like you gotta learn it, but hardware you look at it, you can open the box.
I don't like spending money.
Right. No, I hear you.
Yes, hardware is great.
No, you get the box, you open the box, and it's like there it is, and it's like, ooh, I'm gonna hook it up.
It has that new hardware smell.
The new hardware smell. It's like if I get a new mixer board or or a new desktop, it's like, ooh.
Smells like Chinese slave labor. Delicious. Anyway, that's my day tomorrow.
There you go.
Opening boxes and putting things together. So I'd better have an internet going tomorrow because I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And finish Tony Patriot's graphic. That's something I can tell you I did.
Oh, wow.
That would be pertinent.
Well, that's nice. What'd you make for him? What'd you make for him?
Yeah. I did a graphic for his channel art, and I did some icon work for him so he can have some icons. He just had that close-up snapshot of himself as his channel icon and nothing for graphic art for his channel. So I gave him a couple of options.
Oh wait, okay. He had what for a channel? I'm sorry, I looked at the chat for half a second. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
He had no art for his channel art and nothing for his icon but a snapshot from his cell phone of his face up close where you could see up his nose. So
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Yeah, because like the only thing
I
I have
made the
is
channel a couple of options. Hmm.
oh, that's nice of you. Yeah, the only thing I have is just the picture of my German Shepherd dog, but I like that picture.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest you change it.
No.
What was your dog's name again? I forgot.
Cartman from South
You
Park.
told me.
Yeah.
Oh, Cartman. Okay. Oh, he hates hippies. He and I would get along great.
Yeah, Cartman, he wasn't fat, he was just big boned.
I'm not fat. I'm big bone.
Right. Like his
Yeah.
mother would say that you're not fat, honey, you're just big bones. That's what I say.
Cartman, they said you're racist. I'm not. What does that mean? That means you hate black people. I don't hate black people. I hate hippies. So Cartman is my hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on. My favorite episode was the Save the Rainforest episode.
Oh yeah,
We
when they
must
went
stop
down
the rainforest
right, when they
before it
went
kills again.
right, and the big bugs and all the shit and everything and oh
Oh,
yeah, that
I
was
love that episode. Oh my god, it's the best one.
and then
That is comedy
they get rescued by
perfection.
the construction workers who are plowing it down, and they're like, "We love
Yeah.
you guys," and the rainforest sucks, and
He's, he's like, I need a burrito. I'm so hungry.
my second
Screw
favorite,
you guys, I'm going home.
my
You
second
yeah, me yeah.
yeah, my second favorite was when he wanted to go to that Mexican
He's
restaurant,
my
so
spirit animal.
so he locked that one kid in the like a bomb shelter and said that the whole world was destroyed, and because he wanted to take his place to go to the Mexican restaurant for Kyle's birthday. That one was,
I
and then
didn't see that, but I saw a really terrible sci-fi series where they literally did that to somebody, so that might be where they lifted that from. It was a really
oh
dark, very crappy sci-fi series.
oh okay
It's like a sort of R-rated Twilight. Anyway, I can't even remember what it was called, but it was pretty gross. But
uh,
because I have like issues where I need completion, I actually watched the whole series until it was done. So
oh
I
wait
punished myself.
Fred says he can do Cartman's voice well, so Fred says he can do a good
Oh,
Cartman.
cool. See, I'm bad with the male voices. You know, I can do Edith Bunker and Shirley Temple and all the girly voices, but I suck at the dude voices. Although there was one, who was it that I could do? And I thought, oh, this guy must have a girlier voice than I thought because I could do his voice pretty well, but I can't remember who it is. Never mind. It's not important. I can do my cat's voice, and he's a dude. But he's a
Oh
gelding, so I don't know if that counts.
well, that's
Poor
because you're
fella.
mean.
But
You're a mean person.
no, he arose that way. I didn't do that. But I would have because they spray, so, you know, there's that.
Oh yeah, they
I'm not
make a
going to
mess.
have some unknown male
Yeah,
living.
yeah, they make a mess all over the carpet.
So,
Yeah.
oh, and the other thing I wanted to ask you, because nobody's brought it up, I watched the live coverage on the Fox on YouTube of the president with the religious leaders. Did you watch that
No, I
2
sure
days ago, I
didn't.
think?
No, I sure didn't.
So he had like a mini summit. This was before his rally.
Oh, I
So
thought
when was that? 2 days ago?
I thought Pence did that summit. That was Trump did that summit.
No. Well, yeah, maybe he did. They had a big conference. They were talking about thousands of people and people that couldn't get in. Maybe Pence was there, but
Hmm.
this was in the president's office at his desk, surrounded by
Oh,
about 24 of the most, I guess, well-known ones. Or one of them was
okay.
the Nobel Prize-winning woman who escaped from Boko Haram, I believe,
From
and
where? Where did he
some
escape
you know,
from? Where did he escape from?
the terrorist organization.
From ISIS?
What's it called? Boko Haram or something?
Oh,
Yeah,
Boko
no, the other
Haram.
one.
Boko Haram, the one in Africa, the
Yeah,
one in Nigeria.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was other ones who escaped from some of the others as well. ISIS. The one woman was from Iraq,
Oh
and
wow,
she
boy,
might have been
now
the one that won.
yeah, now I'm mad I missed that. So yeah, what? So yeah, tell us about it. What happened?
Well, it was like, you know, I'm not one to do this, but I was tearing up. It was rough because he let all of those people tell a little bit of their story, and there
Oh
were people
wow.
from one of the men was from the the um the mosque in Australia. One of the survivors of that was there,
Okay.
and a Holocaust survivor was there. Anyway, there were just people from all over the world who are more than one person from China who have people who've had their families murdered and currently have people in prison. It's all religious persecution.
Wow. Well, that didn't
So
get any that didn't get
he
any coverage anywhere. Gee, go figure. I wonder why.
it was yeah. If you look on the Fox channel on YouTube, you probably can pick it. It's just like 2 days ago. It was very
Wow.
touching, and they kept tugging on him, saying, I know you're on your way. You have to go. I know you have to go. Like 3 times during this,
Mm-hmm.
and he kept saying, no, no, no. I want to hear from them, and he let
Wow.
all of them say their piece.
Wow. No, he's like, it's funny because,
Yeah.
again, we've said it, I don't know how many times, but like he's this rich billionaire guy who looks around and sees people who are not billionaires like he is. And it's not like he feels sorry for us, but he's like, you people kind of got like the short end of the stick on a lot of ways. Not because you don't have money like I do, but just because you get fucked with because you don't have political power to like push back on it. And he's like, I'm going to push back
Yeah.
on your behalf because I can. And then like guys like
Hmm.
this, and working class people like us, and he sticks up for us. And he's like, I have the power, I have the money, I have the name. I'm going to push back on behalf of these people, and he does a really good job. Like I was
Yeah,
watching.
he was asking specifics. Like when he talked, somebody said from China. He said, "Where exactly in China?" He was like, "Where exactly? Give me the town. Give me the city."
Yeah, cause,
I was
right, because
like,
he knows China because
he
he
has
does.
intentions.
Yeah, he goes, hey, I want to
Yeah.
like let me know where, and maybe I'll make the phone call to my friend and say, hey, what the fuck's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on with this region over here, whatever region it was, because they said it so quickly. Some of these people barely spoke English, and he just very patiently let them try to say what they were trying to say. A couple of them needed interpreters. It was very touching. I mean, it got to me, Carl, and I'm a hard ass.
Yeah, you are hard. Yeah, but got to you. It must have
So
really been touching. No, he's a really cool guy like that. I was watching the
I'm
North
really
Carolina.
not. I'm a big softie, but I play a hard ass on the internet.
You play a hard ass on the internet, like keyboard warrior type person. There you go.
No,
Face
I'm
to
not that
face,
either. I don't do
face to face, you're like a softie. But like
that.
on the internet, it's like, oh, f you, screw you, f you, ah. Somebody
Well,
goes, ah.
when you have certain abilities, you don't really need to be loud and boisterous about it either. You just take care of your business and then continue. Oh, speaking of which, I'm getting a new gun this week, too. I'm so excited.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, I'm having a great week, Carl.
You getting a handgun or
Yeah,
handgun or rifle?
yeah. I've got a class I've got to finish to get my concealed carry, and then I'm good to go.
You're good to go.
So,
Excellent. Good for you.
here we
Nice.
go.
Well,
I'm
it's
so happy.
well, and then even after that
This is
class,
like my birthday and Christmas and
even after that class,
I'm
you want
sorry.
to put even after that class, you want to put a minimum 300-400 rounds through that weapon, just so you get used to it. You get that muscle
Oh
memory
yeah,
thing going. You want to you know how the second shot feels, how the third shot
yeah,
feels. You know how the sights line up.
yeah.
When you want to shoot straight, and what
You
having
know how
like.
many gun ranges there are around me, Carl? I
Oh, I'm
can throw a
sure.
rock and hit a gun range.
Yeah, about to say, yeah, you like go to one, bump into another one, Like you're in one and the guy's shooting right next to you, like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm in the other gun range. Oh, okay. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's like gods, guns, and fishing. That's where I live.
Hey, that's mega country, MAGA country, MAGA country.
Yep.
But that rally,
Yeah,
I
our
was,
tourist T-shirt says it's a quaint little drinking village with a fishing problem. I was like, you forgot the gun ranges.
it wasn't. It's like we're definitely not a dry town. We go fishing all the time. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I was watching that. I was watching that rally, and it's funny because he's in this audience in North Carolina, and they're not big fans of the audience. You can tell was not necessarily a big fan of prison reform. And then he got the audience all cheering for it because
yeah,
it was the way he described it. It was you could tell it was coming from the heart. It
yeah,
wasn't like on teleprompter.
yeah,
He goes, you should see how this is working. He goes, like these prisoners, like before they'd come out and they go right back in, but now they're coming out and they're getting a job. And he goes, you should hear the reviews from the people who are hiring them. This is like really
yeah,
great. These people are getting jobs. They're liking the jobs. The people hiring them liking them. He goes, this is great, right? And then he said something and everybody cheered.
yeah,
Something like, at first when he started talking about it, you could see the crowd was like, hmm. And then the way he explained it, where he said how good it was and how well it was working, then you saw the crowd go, "Oh, I guess that is a good thing." And it's like he got a whole crowd of people who were probably against the idea to suddenly become like, just because he gave a heartfelt message about it and it was true, and it
Yes,
just the way it came out, and everybody's like, "Oh, well,
it's
shit,
true.
that sounds good. Yeah, wow, we should do that."
And I didn't see that rally. I saw snippets of it. I saw the religious, summit. Well, the meeting after the religious summit in the Oval Office. That was before the rally, so I assumed the helicopter that came to take him away was taking him to the rally. But
Yeah,
the point being, I can co-sign with that crowd in, was it North Carolina? You said
yeah, yeah. Greenville, North
North
Carolina, I
Carolina.
want to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I co-sign with that because I was like, he's letting people out of jail. Because you have to realize, um, well, you don't have to realize, but other people have to realize the thing that got somebody sent to jail the last time may have been a nonviolent crime, but that doesn't mean they don't have violent crimes in their history.
Oh no, of
And
course not.
the
Definitely
way
no.
that I
Yeah.
was reading, and the way that I was reading this, prison reform stuff and other conservatives, who are talking about it, there are some people who are eligible for this who actually have a violent past. So
Right.
it was like, hey, wait a minute,
Well,
this
yeah.
is
Now,
not
well, they
this is
allowed
not as
they
great as it
yeah.
sounds.
Well, they allowed Ted Cruz got a bunch of amendments into it, so and they allowed it in, and Trump was negotiating with Ted Cruz on it, and they got it to a good
Yeah,
place. And the nice thing about it too is like when like Obama gave clemency to people. Well, he just let people out the door. Well, there was nothing out there for them. I mean, that's those people are like that's not a good idea. So, but with Trump, this whole
right.
prison reform thing is it's way more than that. There's a ton of shit that happens before to get qualified, and then
Hmm.
after you get out, there's a whole ton of shit you got to do, or you're going back in.
Yeah,
So, and they create the
right. Like
opportunities
a
for
work
people.
release kind of deal.
Yeah, but it's like more than
And
that.
that
It's like
makes
a lot of
sense.
it's like
And
a
that
lot of
makes sense for
training. Yeah,
me because recidivism is a problem that people get. People who are conservative get that recidivism is a problem.
it's like
You're
it's
going
like
to say
80,
this
80
is a thing.
it's like eighty
Keeping them
percent.
in jail versus putting them through this program prevents more crime.
Right.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
No, we had a
So
program here. It was my four-person who sat on the jury. And I didn't know she ran the program till and then I found out later it was actually her that ran it, and the state of Nevada decided to nix the program. But like the normal recidivism rate for the state of Nevada was some crazy number like 70% recidivism. And then she had this program she put together in the prison for training just exactly like this. And it didn't cost that much either. And she worked. She was one of those real go-getters. So she partnered up with a lot of employers outside in Las Vegas and stuff, and Reno, and got a lot of people say, "Hey, look, we'll monitor them for you. Don't worry, you can hire these people." And the people who went through her program, the recidivism rate was like 70% down to her program, 6.06%.
yes,
And the state of Nevada thought that was a
yes.
waste of money, so they cut the budget out for her program. But I mean, how much money?
Wow.
It's like it costs like $35,000 per year to house somebody. And trust me, her program,
Hmm.
that's the difference between 6% and 70%. I guarantee it wasn't $35,000 per person. It wasn't even close. Okay,
Right,
yeah,
right.
and
The
but and
money, the money
oh
that has
please,
saved the state in the whole penal system and the trial system and the court appointed attorneys and the crime itself that affects the community and God knows what other repercussions, all of that. There's no way that program didn't do anything but save money.
oh, tons and law
It didn't
enforcement.
do
I mean,
anything but save
if you
money.
think about it, right, just going
Yeah.
the victims out there who lose money, insurance claims.
How can anybody argue that cutting crime costs too much money? That's a crazy argument.
I know it was stupid, and
Isn't
they
it?
went
My goodness.
and I remember
How?
she was talking
How
while
did
we
you
were,
keep from
yeah.
smacking every one of them? How?
I have no idea,
Did you think this was Nevada?
yeah, yeah, several years ago. It
Oh my damn.
had to be
Damn.
at least 10 years ago, probably. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Now see, that's bad. That's bad. And that's why we need Trump. And that's why we need more Trumps out there. Because Trump thinks like a businessman. He says, what's efficient? What works? Let's do
right.
that.
How much
Let's
money does it cost?
let's look
Right,
at these microcosms of things that actually work out there and let's apply that across the board. That's what we need to do. Government is the opposite of that. Government's like, well, let's take what doesn't work and throw more money at it. That's what they do. So he's turning them upside down on that. So it's hilarious. got a plan that doesn't work, throw more money at it.
Right. Versus let's do
He's
this
like,
plan.
but it doesn't work.
Right.
Let's do what works, people. Oh, I love that about him because he thinks, like somebody who wants to problem solve, and
Right.
that's just the opposite. Government's there to cause problems so they can promise to problem solve and then get elected and never do anything and then run the next 4 years on problem solving. And they
Right, and
don't
and
do
that's the
anything
problem.
and then they run the next.
Yeah, and that's the problem he has with a lot of
Mhm.
the other politicians is that he's out there actually getting stuff done and problem solving and makes them all look bad. That's why they don't like him so
Yep.
much. He makes everybody else look bad.
When I was a kid, in Kentucky, the local rock and roll station had a series of pseudo commercials, kind of like Saturday Night Live did, but on the radio. And
Uh-huh.
one of the fake companies was Brute Force Cybernetics, and they come up with a funny invention every now and then. But their tagline was Brute Force Cybernetics, the company that creates a need and then fills it. That's the Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we'll create a problem, then we'll pay to fix it. Right. Yeah.
Brute Force Democrat.
Oh God.
Cybernetics. Anyway, cybernetics just sounds cool no matter what you put it on. So,
Right.
hey,
Right.
maybe they're cyborgs.
The
No, they're
Democrats,
aliens.
the Democrats are just straight up aliens. I mean, if you look at Adam Schiff, I
Well, no,
mean,
AOC is a reptile for sure. She's definitely a lizard. I know for sure she can clean her eyeballs with her tongue.
uh,
We know this.
uh,
And the
uh,
skin is starting to come off. See, the problem is she's in molting season because it's summertime, Carl. So
oh, is that what
she
that
has to shed
is?
some skin and she's trying to keep it on. Yeah, just
Well,
she's
it's
an
what.
iguana.
Well, here's another funny aspect I just thought of. It's like, okay, Omar's getting all the press now. Well, AOC, her personality is a lot like Donald Trump's, right? So you can AOC now has got to find something really, really crazy to talk about to get back in the limelight because Omar's
Mm.
eating up all the airtime.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Do you think this whole thing is going to go anywhere with they're re-looking into her past with her, supposed marriage to her brother, etc.
Well, he got asked that question. He knows the whole controversy, and by him just saying it, it got out there, and and Tucker Carlson's been talking about it for a few minutes, and now somebody's actually looking into it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I
Yeah, I
mean,
thought it was somebody in her state who was some kind of investigator. I was
well,
listening
it's
to the
that.
story earlier on another channel, but I
Well,
didn't quite catch at the beginning of it who it was that was doing it.
well, if you committed,
It's somebody official, not just news people.
if you committed immigration fraud, that means the Feds get to look at it. That's William Barr.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he gets
Hmm.
to assign like the U.S. attorney from Minnesota, whoever that
Well,
is.
it wouldn't have to go all the way up. Yeah, I thought they said it was somebody in her state that was looking into it. So that
Well,
would be
probably like the U.S.
an
attorney
estate
for,
attorney that
or a
works for
U.S.
the
attorney,
DOJ.
or U.S. attorney who
Okay.
I don't know how many districts Minnesota has. They might have like two, like a northern and a southern district, possibly. So whatever district she resides in, the U.S. attorney's office for that district would look at it and see if she actually committed some kind of immigration. Because I guess she married her brother to get her brother in here into the
Mm-hmm.
country. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't really.
I'm
I don't follow little stuff like that until it becomes
not sure.
something, right.
Hmm.
I'm taking a guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it sounds weird. And she's kind of a weird person.
Yeah.
And anyway, and she's kind of
Kind of.
she's real militant. And I don't know, she's just really
Mhm.
angry. It's
Mhm.
like, I mean,
Mhm.
she upset with her parents and she's projecting it to everybody else? Like, why did you take me from my homeland? It's like, well, because we were starving and people were trying to kill us. And then, like, they took her to Uganda. She had to live in a Uganda refugee camp, which I'm sure was no fun. And then, like, the United States
Mhm.
offers them asylum. And this is the thing I was saying is like, she could have, her family could have chosen to go to any country. Probably could have gone to Italy because I believe Somalia was formerly an Italian colony, or if not a British colony. So probably could have gone to Great Britain, could have gone to Italy, maybe France. Could have stayed in Uganda. Uganda is actually not a bad country as far as what they're doing right
Mhm.
now. Could have gone to Kenya. That's actually getting
Except
pretty
for the
good.
Ebola.
Well, because they're right next door to the Congo, so yeah, that's starting to creep over there right now. But I mean, she could have gone to a lot of different
Mhm.
places, but her family said no, we want to go to the United States. We took her in under a true asylum claim. It sounded like a real asylum claim. Like really, there. I mean, you don't live in a Uganda refugee camp for like 3 years if you don't really have a real asylum claim from your from your country.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you're pulling a scam, you're sure really you're dedicated. So I mean, then we take and so her family
Yeah.
chooses to come here, and she has all this great opportunity, so much opportunity that she gets to run for
Mhm.
Congress and wins and becomes a congressperson, one of the
Yes.
most known congresspeople in Congress. You know, most people can't
Mhm.
name their own
Mhm.
congressperson, but they probably can name her. And you know, all this
Yeah,
opportunity.
because she says crazy stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she has, and she was a
Yeah.
state senator before that, so or state assembly person. But I mean, she has all this great opportunity, and then
It,
she says this country sucks.
yes.
It's like, well, wait a second, how the hell did you
Yeah, and
get? How
it
did you?
demonstrates how great this country is, Carl, but it also demonstrates how crappy in a way the country is because basically people like her can rise to the top even though they're just the turd floating in the in the waters, right? But the point is that's what I said before. It's we're both great and we have major issues and she is kind of an example of both of those things. But she's
No,
too
I
I didn't know
disagree.
about her mommy daddy issues part of the equation. That's interesting and enlightening because if you think about the mommy daddy issues, she ran into the arms of the Democrat Party who rewards people for being whiny adolescents. So she's just stunted. She's emotionally stunted. And as
something,
most of
yeah.
them are.
Well, it's easy
But
to take. It's easy. It's always easy if you're pissed off to take a radical position because it doesn't require a lot of thought or
sure.
processing. You know, it's
Mhm.
easy. You know, the world is black
And
and white. Yeah.
you get rewarded for that in the Democrat Party. So
Well, you get
it gets
rewarded that
her,
from you get rewarded from you.
accolades and
Well, you also get
the
rewarded.
feedback loop, a causal feedback loop.
Yeah. Well, you also get rewarded for that
Sorry.
before then by your peers. You know, and you make
Mhm.
friends. You get to join a group and
Who are
get
Democrats?
well. Well, before then, I'm talking before then. I'm talking, you know, before you become a Democrat.
Mm.
What I'm saying is, you get to join a group and you get to be like a voice and you get to be as radical as you want. You get rewarded within that group for being radical like that. And it's easy. It's easy for somebody. Maybe she
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
lot of friends fast, and she just fell into a group that's easy to make friends. We all feel the same way. There's not a lot of, you know, gray areas. You know, groups where you have gray areas, maybe you don't get to stand out. You know, maybe you don't get to make a lot of friends. You know, so maybe she's was
Yeah.
friendless. She was lonely. She had her whole life ripped out from under her. She was a kid. She was traumatized, and she joined. Said, "Oh, I'll
And
do."
she blamed her parents, so she created new relationships. And these people are open targets for A, cults, and B, the Democrat Party. But I repeat myself.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
she's basically a culty. She's a culty, and she's convinced, which are the dangerous ones. So, like I said before, there's a lot of money. BB's always talking about the people funding things and everything, which is true. And people are doing a lot of this for the money. But there are true believers. They're being used as pawns by the people, the corporatists with the money. But there are true believers. They're the ones that are willing to, you know,
Yeah, but
suicide themselves.
remember the famous line though.
Hmm.
If they're fanatics, that means they're carrying with them a secret doubt.
Well, sure. That's how all of it works. Every cult that anybody's in is a house of cards. That's why they get really angry and rabid when you pick away at any of their cards. You try to flip one of those suckers over, and they're going to bite you. So yeah, of course.
Solix writes. Oh, hey, Shonda's graphics. How you doing there, young lady? Shonda graphics
Hey,
in the chat
Shonda,
room.
I can't see the chat room because Carl put a hit out on my internet. They don't want me,
Oh, that
online.
Jesus, damn. But anyway, Solix writes Republicans
He
take back
sent the
the.
zombie.
I sent a zombie. Yes. Solix writes Republicans take back the House, and all this craziness will slow down to a crawl. Solix, I agree, but Solix, we have to go out and vote.
Yeah.
We have to do what the Democrats did in 2018. We can't sit on our ass. We can't sit on our hands. We can't stay home. We can't say, well, I voted last time, so, you know, I'm busy. I got to watch reruns of Gilligan's
Yeah, no.
Island. You know, I can't be bothered. I can't go take my friend. My friend doesn't have a vehicle, but I can't take my friend because, you know, I'm busy. You know, I got to go to Sonic and get a
Take your
hamburger.
friend.
Take your friend.
Grab them by
Take
the
it.
hair if necessary. Oh,
Exactly.
and maybe that's a bridge too far, but you could bribe
Wait,
them
Solix
with a
asked.
steak dinner.
Anyway, Solix asked, do you think Pelosi will run for re-election at the age of 81? My answer would be yes. Why not? She has nothing else to do.
Oh yeah,
She doesn't want to give
absolutely.
that. She'll die holding that gavel or not letting it go. One or the other. You know, she's third most powerful person in the United
Absolutely.
States, making her one of the top most powerful people in the world. So yeah, who wants to give that away? You know. So yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
she
no. These
won.
people, she's well deluded. She doesn't think she looks and acts as old as she is. She doesn't think that she's no. I mean, look at all of them up there at the top in the upper echelons of power, and not just in our country. That's just you know. Have you ever dealt with a really old person, Carl? I don't mean just politically, but
Yes.
somebody who's really old and set in their ways. You
Yep.
can't tell them anything.
Nope.
Her closest confidants can't tell her, sweetie, it's time.
Oh no,
You
trust me,
can
they
do
won't have
whatever
a
you
job.
want. You've got all the money.
Right.
Mm-mm,
No. Those people,
ain't
anybody,
happening.
anybody close to her tells her that she just cuts them off. And then if they work for her, they know they
Absolutely.
if they work for her, they know better. They definitely know better.
Yeah. Well, they theorized that Lindsey Graham was terrified of McCain, and that guy was on his deathbed. They're old people are scary right up until they die. They're,
Yeah,
they're scary, scary people.
for
So
sure.
I'm going to let you go in case you want to take another call or do something else.
Alrighty, young lady.
And
Well, thank you so much for the
I'm going
phone
to try
call.
to hammer together some internet. Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
Good
thank you,
night.
Miss Effie
Good
Loves
night.
America. Okay. Good night, girl.
Good night.
Good night. And that was a great Effie Loves America with a great call in as usual, and some really good information and some good conversation. Excellent. See, she is suffering from Alzheimer's. She's a shaking has been going on for years now. Watch her; she never lets go of the left hand. Oh, of her left hand. Yeah, I didn't notice the left hand thing. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like well, probably all the Botox too. I mean, she's Botox may be giving her some problems. That could be also. But or okay, what's it up? What's it up to you? Says that's alcohol abuse. That could be, as far as the handshaking. That could be. Yeah, I mean, years, decades of alcohol abuse. That definitely could have caused that as well. But I tell you what, unless somebody else wants to call in, I'm gonna call it an evening. So if you want to call in real quick. Otherwise, I'm going to end the stream for tonight. So I just want to thank everybody who's been in the chat room. Thank Effie Loves America for the great call. And everybody who's been watching, thank you. And everybody who'll be watching later, thank you very much. And we'll probably be doing a live stream tomorrow night. Definitely doing one this weekend for sure. Probably we're doing one tomorrow night, and probably around the same time. I like doing the late shows. I remember when I was before I had my own channel, I used to go around on the internet, be on the West Coast. I was always kind of ticked off and disappointed that there weren't more videos. That's before there were a lot of live streams. There weren't more videos and more new content available late at night for people on the West Coast, and I was always like really pissed off because I always wanted to go around the different comment sections and stuff at least, and kind of be entertained late at night, which was not late at night on the West Coast, but considered late at night on the East Coast. So I like doing these like 10 o'clock shows. It just makes it available for everybody, so everybody has a chance to watch some new content, and then of course we get the last news, the last breaking news stories that are out there. So it's always good to cover something like that. You get to see it tonight before you see other people covering it tomorrow morning also. So Solex, hey man, thanks, yeah. So for sure, thanks for subscribing, totally appreciate it. But okay, guys. Anyway, for Carl's opinion, this is Carl. Everybody have a great night.